Coming through a bit of calm and connect. Feet planted, and allow the knees or allow the feet to heel toe and go wide to long edge to your mat. And then open up the palms to face up to the sky and shoulder blades press into the earth. Come to your connection of breath. Whether it's in and out of the nose, or in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then start to tune into your own breath rhythm, noticing where it's drawing you today, whether it is fast or slow or cool or warm. How many times do we tap into those sensations without being told to do so? So throughout my day, I know I forget to focus on my breath unless I'm being mindful about it, unless I'm meditating, unless I'm practicing my yoga. So how do we use that in our day-to-day tasks? So a good practice right now, as I always say, is that check-in of your to-do list. So if something comes up, use an exhale to let it go, let it float by, using your own power of thought. And for today's practice, I want to speak of the yamas and the niyamas. They're kind of like the principles of our yoga practice. And one in particular I may have shared in the past is Ahimsa, meaning non-violence. And the word violence can feel heavy or strong, but what Ahimsa actually teaches us is more about kindness. So you know not to treat your neighbor or a friend or a peer poorly. You know to treat them with kindness, that whole saying, treat others the way you want to be treated. We've known this since childhood. But we weren't always taught about Ahimsa, kindness to ourselves. And I'm making that assumption that in our community, we know to be kind to ourselves. That's why we practice. It's a form of that kindness. It's a form of that self-care. Over the last few days or even weeks, what has been your talk to yourself? What is your Ahimsa? Have you been kind? Have you been gentle? Or have you taken this time to just add on more stuff to do, more work, more progression? How do we spend more time practicing Ahimsa, nonviolence? The things that we put in our system, what we digest, whether it's food or communication or watching the news. How do we change that and bring in more of that kindness, that positivity? As students of yoga, you know better than anyone that it starts with your self-talk. So our focus today, Ahimsa, non-violence. How do we take that practice off our mat and how do we incorporate it on our mat? Those physical challenges, the asanas, which are our postures. When something feels challenging, instead of giving up and say, I can't do this, or my body doesn't work that way, we find an alternative route. We modify, and we change it for our own needs. Same with our dialogue. So your challenge, or I dare you, to bring a positive thought to mind right now. Repeat it to yourself on your inhale. Reaffirm it on your exhale. And instead of thinking about, I should focus on this, I want you to just see what came up first. What dialogue was brought to the surface? And if it was something that you don't fully resonate with, play with it a bit longer. Maybe there's some discovery there. I practice Ahimsa. I practice nonviolence. I practice kindness. We'll say that one more time. Whether you use it as an inhale, I practice Ahimsa. I practice nonviolence. I practice kindness. Start to wake up the lower half of the body by windshield wipering knees from side to side, or maybe hugging knees into your chest. And if your feet are still planted in the earth, draw them into your chest. Allow the feet to come to flexion, the knees to stay above the hips at a 45-degree angle. And then open your arms wide to a T. And allow your knees to drop all the way towards the right. Come into a gentle supine twist. We won't go to the full expression of it yet as we're still warming up. And then you're either going to hug your knees back into your chest by grabbing a hold of them with your hands, or core engagement, draw your navel to your spine and scoop the knees up in towards your chest, bring them back to center. Pause there, flexion through your feet, knees above your hips. And then allow them to drop over towards the left side of your mat. Supine twist on the other side, and our head is going to stay neutral. Pausing when you get there. Draw your navel back in and either hug the knees in with your hands or use that core strength, lift back up. Pause. Let's repeat that. Lower the knees over towards the right. Pause when you get there. Core strong. Draw your knees back into your chest. Pause. Lower over towards the left. Stay there for a breath. Core is on. Inhale, lift back to center. And then exhale, lower your heels down to the earth to tap. And then lift your knees back up, knees at that 45-degree. Draw your core in still, navel to spine, press the lower back into mat. Slowly lower the heels down to tap. Lift the knees back up into your chest. And one more like that. Lower the heels down to tap. And lift the knees back into your chest. And this time, come into a happy baby. Grab the edges of the feet or the backs of the ankles or calves or thighs. Whatever's available to you. Try not to compromise the connection of the shoulders to the floor. So if they want to lift off because you're reaching for your feet, then bring your hands closer to you. Knees are wide towards your armpits. And then think about pressing that lower back into the mat again. That same connection that we just did with that supine twist. And in your happy baby, can you bring flexion to the feet if that's not already there, so toes to your shin. As if you're holding something up on the sky. So build a bit of tension now. Press your feet up to the sky, but keep the knees bent. So if you have the bind with the hands, you're going to feel tension press into the hands. Work into the top of that quad, into glute. Keep drawing the core in, and then slightly soften. So come into that yin approach, less yang. Try not to tense up. Let's repeat that. Build that sukha and that stira. So fill it with tension again. Press your heels to the sky and keep pulling your feet or knees into your chest. Hold, hold, hold. And then soften. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's do that one more time. Build a bit of tension, press shoulders, take the knees wide, press the soles of feet to the sky, hold, hold, hold. And then slightly drop back, releasing that tension, and come to a little rock of the sacral spine from side to side. So maybe you're gonna stay in happy baby like I am, or maybe you're gonna hug the knees to your chest, or bring the feet back down. So lower back massage here. And allow that left foot to come to the earth. The knee's gonna stay bent. And let's hug that right knee in, but cradling that leg. So if you were part of the calm practice earlier this week, we were practicing taking the right hand to the outside of that thigh of the leg that's bent. And then bring the left hand to the base of the foot and cradle the leg so you're rocking it from side to side. And instead of adding motion, I want you to hug that knee in closer. So the knee's gonna go towards your armpit and the heel is gonna come closer towards the opposite hip, so towards that left hip. Hug it in. If it's part of your practice today, lift your head off the mat, shoulder blades lift off. Build a bit more tension. Maybe come into a bind of interlacing the hands. I know I'm using that word tension a lot today in our calm practice, but we find that edge to appreciate the ease. Take 2 more breaths, whether it's hugging in with the bind, or holding it there. And then start to lower your head and shoulders down. Lengthen your left leg. And then either cross your right ankle over top of left thigh, come to half lotus, or bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. So my right knee is bent. It's working to the long edge of your mat. The other leg is extended to the top of the mat. Let's feel nice and long through the front of the body. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, lower the hands back down. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, lower the hands back down. Few more at your own breath rhythm. And every exhale, think about bringing that knee to the long edge of your mat. Inhale. Exhale. Let's lengthen the right leg to meet its opposite. Inhale, both arms overhead, interlace the hands, and then flip the palms. Feel length here. Start to lift through your heart. Feel that arch in the spine. Come into a variation of fish pose. So feel that space. Feel that connection through lower back. Slightly lifts off. Shoulder blades press to the earth. Sternum lifts up to the sky. Point through your toes. And then lower that spine back down, hug your knees into your chest, come into a little ball. Sacral massage from side to side. We're gonna lower the right foot to the earth, And then grab the base of the left foot. Left hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Let's come to that cradle again. Rocking the hip side to side. And then as you hug that knee back in, again, you're drawing that heel towards the opposite hip. So left heel towards right hip. Hug it in, build that tension again, Sukha and Stira. And then lift the head off the mat. Maybe come into your bind of interlacing the hands and bringing the foot to the elbow crease if it reaches. If not, do what's available for you. Drop the shoulders, lengthen your neck. Take one more breath here. Side out. Lower your head and shoulders first. Then lengthen your right leg and decide if you're crossing the left ankle over thigh or bringing the sole of the foot to inner thigh. So let's readjust the shoulders. Make sure sit bones are still in the earth. Left knee is working to the long edge. And let's add that flow of the upper body. Inhale. Arms reach overhead, getting long. Exhale. Lower the hands down, and we'll go at our own breath rhythm. Two more rounds of breath. Now let's lengthen both legs again to the top of the mat or the base of the mat. Point through your toes, interlace your hands, reach them overhead. If you want to repeat that variation of our fish pose, start to lift through your chest, bend into your elbows, press your shoulders to the mat, space between your spine and the mat. Feel that sternum press up. Feel the shoulder blades press into each other. Soften through your jaw. Stay here and allow the hands to float down by your sides. Press them into the mat. Can you start to even lift the sternum more and press your elbows into the floor? The head might start to slightly lift off the mat if you're coming into another variation or expression of fish. You should feel that big heart opener across the front of the chest from pec to pec. Take one more breath here. And then lower yourself back into the earth, one vertebrae at a time. Hug your knees in. Reset the spine. Maybe it's the rock again, from side to side. Maybe it's a rocking of the knees. And let's roll onto the right side to that fetal position and allow yourself to come upright. So use top hand to press you up. Come to seated on your mat. And if cross leg is uncomfortable for you, you can always take your legs to staff pose or take your legs wide to a straddle. Do what's comfortable for you, or sit up on a block if you have it. I'm going to actually take advantage of that today. I never usually get to do that. So from your seated posture, find your sit bones rooted. We'll do a bit of a heart opener to add on to the fish pose that we just did. Let's start with cat and cow though from seated. So inhale, lift through your heart, arch in your spine. Exhale, rounding through your spine, tucking your chin, and allow the palms to float so we're not building more tension. Inhale, lift through your heart, arch in the spine. Exhale, hollowing out and rounding through your spine. So I know that you know this. Continue that with your breath rhythm. And maybe you want to start by incorporating the shoulders and shrugging them up as you lift your heart, and then dropping them down and then rounding, playing with a bit more variation today in cat and cow. Or do what feels natural to you. Make it fluid. Connect it with breath. And the next time that you come through to neutral, I want you to switch feet. So if you are cross-legged, bring the opposite foot in front just to change that up. So we're not creating any pins and needles or making one foot fall asleep. Now we're gonna add on here. So that same open and close, we're gonna incorporate the upper body by reaching the arms out in front, palms face each other. Inhale, lift through your heart, open your arms to a T, maybe bend through your elbows. Exhale, rounding through your spine, give yourself a hug, reach for the back of the shoulders and stack elbows. Inhale, lift through your heart. And let's change the grip each time if you can. Exhale, round through your spine, cross the other arm on top, reach for the shoulders, maybe tuck the chin. Okay, we'll do 2 more together. Inhale, lift through your heart. Exhale, round through spine. Inhale, lift, open up. Exhale, switch the grip as you hug. Now at your own rhythm. Maybe connect with that intention we set for practice, Ahimsa. So opening up through your heart, shining through that heart each time. Remind yourself of your own love and kindness, of your own Ahimsa. Things might start to shift here on an emotional level if you're open and aware of that. Not just that physical level of working through chest and shoulders. Try to think about softening every time we open. That's the place where you start to tap into that affirmation. I am kind to myself. I am gentle. I practice Ahimsa. I practice nonviolence. And now let's see if we can take it a little quicker with our breath and build a bit of fire. In and exhale out. In and exhale out. So pick it up a bit here. Maybe it's Ujjayi. Can we do it for a count? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands down. Side out. Maybe roll the shoulders a few times. Whatever you feel like you need to release in this moment. Maybe roll the shoulders forward. So now that we've warmed up chest and lower back, let's make our way into your variation of child's pose, Balasana. So come to tabletop to start. Take the knees wide, big toes together. If you have a pillow or a blanket, you can always place it on top of your heels or your bolster and send your sit bones back. Let's find length again in the spine. So if you felt any compression from being seated, start to reach your fingertips long to the top of your mat and then drop the head down. Think about sending and pressing your hips over top of your heels. Let's roll out of our child's pose. Readjust hands under shoulders and then readjust knees underneath the hips. And let's step our right foot between our hands, coming into a modified lunge. You can stay with the hands planted or walk the hands to that thigh and come up tall. Option to double up on your mat to protect your knee. Come to your modified crescent lunge, draw your core in. Think about lengthening from your tailbone to your crown. Sometimes what ends up happening here though is that knee starts to take a bit more of that pressure. So make sure you're protecting your knee. If it means having to lift the knee up, feel free to do that. It's going to be a bit more intensified though. Inhale your arms up. Bend into your elbows and allow the palms to rotate in. We're just going to hold here for 4 breaths. Finding that edge again, sinking into your hips. And then let's bring the hands down. Now you are going to tuck the toes, lift that knee, and step that foot on a 45-degree angle. So for Virabhadrasana A, we're going to come into pyramid pose. So that left foot's on a 45 angle. You can use blocks, or you can just use your fingertips to bring you closer to the earth or lift you off the earth. Let's start to find length through front right leg. Micro bend into your knee. And then left hip slightly rotates forward. So if this is your first hamstring work for today, let's be gentle here. Don't need to go through the full expression. Maybe your head is going to be lifted more. Usually I'd be cueing you to say bring your nose towards your knee or your chest towards your thigh, but I want you to just honor that space right now. So maybe we don't need to go there today. Instead, focus on the grip. So if your hands are gripping into the floor or gripping into a block or gripping into your calf or your shin, loosen the grip. Loosen the tension of the jaw. And let's start to find length in the spine. So slightly start to lift, halfway lift your head and your heart. And then exhale, come back to where we started, bend into your front knee, and step up to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, find length through your spine, hands to your shins. And exhale, forward fold. We'll transition to our crescent lunge a different way. So bring the hands to the earth. You're going to step back with your right foot and bring that knee down. Untuck the toes. Readjust the hips so they're squared at the top of your mat, and the right hip might slightly rotate more forward. Walk your hands up to that thigh. Draw the core in and on. Find height again. Length through the quad. Protect the knee. Inhale, arms up. Space between shoulders. So let's rotate the palms in today. 4 breaths. Notice if you can readjust hips. So think about squaring them up. One more Ujjayi breath. Bringing the hands down. Frame your foot. Tuck the toes, lift the back knee, and then step it on that 45-degree angle. So mine actually wanted to go fully off the mat, so maybe that's my body saying that this side is a little tighter, so it might mean taking a wider stance. Then find your pyramid again. So start to find length through the front leg without locking that knee, and slightly rotate back, hip forward. Rotate back, hip forward. Head is going to stay lifted above your heart. Chest is going to be lifted again. You can make a tent with the hands, or you can place your hands on the shin as long as you're not pressing your weight into it. Roll the shoulders back. Let's inhale, find length, like a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Then into your front knee, walk your hands to the top of your mat, step up to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands up to your thighs. Press into your thighs, round through your spine, and then walk hands all the way up the front of the body. Inhale, coming up to Mountain Tadasana. Take your arms overhead, interlace them, lift the palms, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, press the breath back down to the earth so hands can stay interlaced. I'll face you this way. Beautiful, nice. Inhale, reach up, bring your gaze with you, look up. Exhale, maybe even take the hands to prayer. Inhale, scoop the prana, scoop the breath up. Look up, maybe add a little heart opener since we're about that today. Exhale, hands back to prayer. 2 more times like that. Inhale. Looking up. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Since we are at standing today, let's come through a bit of our warrior sequence before we come back onto our spine. Let's start with the hands on the hips. And right foot is going to step back into a lunge first, and then pivot your foot. So that foot is lying with the short edge of your mat. Front knee is going to be bent, knee above your ankle. If you can't see your big toe, so I'm over exaggerating it now and I'm leaning far forward, I want you to draw that knee back until you can have a peek of that big toe. Arms extend out. And let's soften in the shoulders. Allow the palms to face up, bend into your elbows. Take that front left arm, lift it up, come into exalted warrior. Right hand's gonna rest in the back of the leg. And then take some space between your neck and your shoulder. So my strong, broad shoulders, I need to bend into my elbow to really make that space. So integrity through the legs. They're nice and strong, but focus on your core to help lift you back up. Virabhadrasana B. And then take that front arm and rest it on your thighs. Side angle pose. Top arm is going to extend to the front of the room and palm faces the earth. Yeah. So left arm is resting on left knee. Right arm is extending. Feel that connection all the way from the shoulder to the hip here. Let's repeat that one more time. Core is on. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, exalted. One more time. Inhale, through to center, Virabhadrasana B. Exhale, exalted warrior. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands to hips. And just to confuse you, can we change directions on our mat? If you're watching me on a screen, then you're going to just transition sides. But see if you can get a little uncomfortable with changing with those directions. So left foot is going to pivot to face the long edge of your mat. And now it's aligned with the short edge. Right foot is going to pivot as well. The right knee is going to bend. So we shouldn't have to adjust the feet too much here. Maybe slightly heel toe that foot, so heel to arch alignment again. Arms extend out, check in for that big toe of the right side. Maybe bring that knee back, flip the palms, and then come through to exalted. So really trusting in our practice, trusting that you know this. Sometimes just changing up our direction, changing up our placement on the mat can be a challenge for ourselves. Draw your attention back to core, lift up Virabhadrasana B. Side angle pose, so right forearm rests this time, left arm extends overhead. Again, make space in that top shoulder, palm faces the earth, core is on. Inhale, Virabhadrasana B. Exhale, exalted. Inhale, lift back up, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, lift through Virabhadrasana B. Exhale, hands to hips, pivot, front toes, face the long edge of your mat again, and then slightly angle the feet out. This is our last fiery pose, and I'm gonna call it our balance pose today because it brings everything together. It's not fully balanced, but it's balanced in the sense that we really need to center and bring our focus to Manipura. So bend into your knees, come through to goddess squat. Find that place you're a little uncomfortable. Maybe it's gonna be a taller goddess today, not the full version. Take your arms open to cactus. Draw the forearms to close. Inhale to open. Legs don't move. Exhale to close. Find that fire. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Find length, come up to star, and then bring our hands to our hips. And then appreciate that ease again. Come back to your calm, heel toe your feet together. And then let's make our way back down to seated. Then from seated, you can either come right onto your spine, or since we've already been working on core today, take the arms out and slowly lower with control, a bit more core awareness, until you come all the way back down to the earth. And then let's finish with reclined pigeon. So right ankle is going to cross over left thigh. Option to walk that left heel closer into your glute, or to interlace your hands behind the thigh and draw it in towards your chest. So thinking about working right knee to top corner. Let's lower that foot down. Uncross the leg. Start in bridge pose again. Left ankle crosses over right knee. Option to walk the heel closer into the glute or to interlace the hands behind that other thigh. As long as it's not compromising upper body, shoulders down again. Releasing the bind if you have the hands behind the thigh. Find your way into Shavasana, maybe both legs extended, maybe feet planted, maybe arms open. Any restorative, ease-filled pose that will fully allow you to come back into that rest. Closing the eyes. Being proud of your work, proud of your practice. The last few minutes of class here, take time to reconnect with your language or find a way to settle yourself in. So is it inhaling that affirmation, I practice Ahimsa, I practice nonviolence, I practice kindness. I practice kindness towards myself, kindness towards others. If you wish to stay longer, please allow yourself, give yourself that permission. And if you would like to close practice with me, gently roll onto our right side. Pause for a moment as you come to stillness again. Take a moment to thank yourself for the physical practice. Thank your body for everything it does for you. Thanking your mind for being still. And thanking your breath and your prana for guiding you. Now with the support of that top hand, press it into the mat and let's slowly come up to seated. Extend your top leg. So we'll lead out of here today with that left side feminine nurturing energy that we created. Palms to third eye, Anja chakra for intuition. To mouth and throat, to Vishuddha, speaking our truth, being candid with our words. To our heart, Anahata, for community and connection. Thank you for being a part of this online space. Put a little love in your heart. Have a great rest of your day, however you choose to spend it, and namaste.